You've probably heard this question a million times, right? You see it online, you talk about it with friends. Why do billionaires keep trying to make more money? I mean, with all that wealth, why don't they just stop? It's a great question. So let's really get into it and unpack what's actually going on here.
First, just to set the stage, look at this number, $8.5 trillion. That's roughly the combined net worth of just the top 10 wealthiest people in the world. It's a number so big it's hard to even wrap your head around it, you know? It's more than the entire economy of most countries. We're talking about a literal ocean of capital.
Okay, but here's where we need to pause. Think about the word we all use, hoarding. It makes you picture some cartoon dragon sitting on a giant pile of gold, right? But is that really what's happening? To get to the truth, we kind of have to challenge that very first idea.
And here is probably the most crucial distinction of all. For the ultra-rich, their fortune isn't just sitting in a massive bank account. Almost none of it is cash. Instead, it's invested in what are called productive assets. Think stocks, ownership in companies, big real estate holdings, stuff that's actively working inside the economy. So it's less like a static pile of money and more like this huge, interconnected web of ownership.
So to really answer why, we need to look at this through a few different lenses. The first one, and honestly, it's maybe the most fascinating, is all about human psychology. What is going on in the mind of someone who gets to that level?
Well, behavioral economists have some ideas. First up is something called loss aversion. You know that feeling when you lose 20 bucks? It stings way more than the joy you get from finding 20 bucks. Turns out that feeling doesn't go away. The fear of losing $1 billion can feel more real than the excitement of gaining another. Then there's just raw competitive instinct. For a lot of these folks, business is the ultimate game, and money, well, that's how you keep score. And weirdly enough, there's also this deep, deep search for security, building a financial fortress so massive that absolutely nothing can ever touch you.
And this quote, wow, it just perfectly captures that whole scoring mentality, doesn't it? It frames making money not as a way to buy things, but as the goal itself. It's all about winning the game. And the final score is the number next to your name.
But of course, it's not all in their heads, right? You can have all the drive in the world, but you need an engine to make it go. So for our second lens, let's look at the economic system itself, which is basically built to make wealth grow. And the core concept you have to understand here is capital gains. This isn't your paycheck from a job. Think of it this way. A salary is like getting paid to pick apples from an orchard. Capital is owning the whole orchard. The real value isn't just in the apples you pick each year, it's in the fact that the entire orchard is growing and becoming more valuable. That increase in value, that's a capital gain.
And that leads to this incredibly powerful force called compounding. It's simple, really. You invest your capital, it makes a profit. Then you reinvest that profit, which then starts making its own profit. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It just gets bigger and faster, growing exponentially, almost like it has a life of its own. On top of that, the economic system itself often encourages this kind of growth. In many places, the money made from wealth, from those long-term capital gains, is taxed at a different rate, and often a lower one than the money you make from working a regular job. So in a way, the system is set up to reward owning the orchard. Okay, so we've got the mindset and we've got the system, but there's a third really powerful driver that has nothing to do with spending money during your own life. It's about what happens to it all in the end. This is the legacy question. See, for fortunes this huge, the plan is way bigger than just inheritance. A huge chunk is always being reinvested to keep that snowball growing. But the rest? It's often set up for specific things like massive charitable foundations that can shape society, or really complex trusts designed to manage that wealth for generations to come. At this level, the whole goal just shifts. It's not about personal consumption anymore. It becomes about turning a personal fortune into something that lasts forever, a perpetual institution, like a foundation or a dynasty that's designed to outlive you and keep operating for centuries. So we've looked at the psychology, the economic engine, and this drive for legacy. Let's tie it all together. Why does any of this actually matter to the rest of us? It matters because that simple picture of a billionaire hoarding cash in a vault just isn't right. The reality is this powerful mix of three things. You've got a psychological drive that's wired for competition, you've got an economic system that's like a turbocharger for that drive, and you have this long-term goal of turning all that wealth into a lasting institution that will impact society, for better or for worse.
So in the end, if we stop thinking about this as a hoard and start seeing it for what it really is, an incredibly powerful tool for shaping the world, it leaves us with a much bigger, much more important question. It's not just about why it's being accumulated, it's about what we as a society think it should be used for. If all that wealth is a tool, what should it be building?